because when I upload this on BitChute, Scott, it's not on the live stream. It's already recording. So our viewers
Okay.
will get to, this is a new platform for us doing live streams. So there's things we have to get used to about this live stream dynamic because it's a very different dynamic. So here we go. Here we go. We are live, Scott. So,
Nice.
good morning, everybody. Good Sunday morning it is. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host, Louisa, host and researcher, because I really have to get away from saying host. That's not really what I do. Today is Sunday, March 29th, 2020, and today is our GoldFish Report number 470. With
Wow.
Dr. Scott Werner, and we are here with an incredible message of shifting consciousness from fear to love in these uncertain times. So, welcome back to the Goldfish Report, Scott. Nice to see you.
Well, thank you. And I'm so happy to be here. And thank you all for joining us. This is a live stream. And so we want you to know we do not have any preconceived thoughts or anything. We're just going to bring you the truth as we've been gathering it up during this pandemic. And it's going to be very good information. It's going to be enlightening for you and give you some hope, help your faith increase and your love. Because we as humans, you know, we don't realize it, but the reason we like having pets is they love us unconditionally. And we've kind of steered away from that unconditional love. And the message that Jesus and Saint Germain want me to give you today is about that love. I actually had Jesus appear to me on Monday of last week. And he said to me, Scott, you have got to bring more love to your message, more love to everything you're doing, even the products you're making. Your intent should be love, because whenever you have love as consciousness, you will do no harm to anybody or anything. In fact, it will help raise the effect and make it even stronger, make it more useful, make it work better. Love heals everything. And so, that's why I teach Ho'oponopono all the time, because the first thing you do is you say, I love you. Then you say, I'm sorry for anything I did to hurt our relationship or whatever happened to us. And I'm sorry for whatever I did. Please forgive me for whatever I did, and then forgive yourself, because it's important that we clear our own auric field of any energies that are not in that love consciousness, and then have gratitude, because gratitude is the ultimate form of forgiveness and love. Because when we're grateful for things, it takes away all of the other stuff, like when we're judging people or criticizing people or jealous of people. That is not showing gratitude. That's showing all of these lower emotions. And we need to gratitude, because gratitude is the ultimate form of receiving the intelligence and the energies from the universe.
Well, you know what? And you know what? I'm going to be calling this series. It's a little late, but I really felt this morning that we needed to name this Food for the Soul.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And, with the agenda of what actually is going on, they're trying to control our loop, our souls. And, one of my favorite movies I've ever watched was by the Mikowski brothers, and they did one called Jupiter Ascending. The Matrix was a documentary, let's face it, and about AI. And but
Yeah.
the Jupiter Ascending was about modern day Earth, and all of the agenda of what's going on out there in the universe, and the cabal and all of the dark uh, energies. And it amazes me how the even the dark forces will reveal to us what their program is, so we still have free choice. We watch it and we go, oh, that couldn't be real. But they're actually showing what our choices are. Now, one of the things that just really startled me recently is they have, the kids are getting on the internet and they're taking these IQ tests or taking these different tests to see where they categorize themselves. And the agenda in the education system is to get all these children ready to become transhumanists. And it's amazing how the brainwashing has worked to the deepest cores of our children. And they're believing in transhumanism. And in the book, The Next Step in Human Evolution, which is an amazing book. St. Germain had me write this. It actually appeared to me in October of 2014, told me to write the book, and I didn't write it and didn't write it. And and so he appeared to me in December of 2014, says, Scott, you've got to get on the ball writing your book. And I'm like, St. Germain, I'm busy trying to run a business, make money. My family needs to exist. I don't have any resources. And he said, I will take care of you. And it's kind of a funny story because a lady that very morning called me up. She says, Scott, thank you so much for getting me feeling better. She had severe chronic fatigue and just couldn't function. Her brain wasn't functioning very well. She had the memory fog and everything. And she said, I'm feeling so much better. Is there anything I can do for you? And I said to her, I said, St. Germain came this morning. He wants me to write this book. And I've got to get away, but I can't afford a lot. And she says, well, you can come live in my Ohana. And she says, I've got a room up above my garage. You can come and stay there. I love St. Germain. And so I'll get it ready and you can live there as long as you need to write your book for free. And I'll take care of you. And I was like, oh my gosh. So some things happened very rapidly. So I went to Hawaii and came to find I had enough Hawaiian miles it cost me $5 to fly to Maui and $5 back to Las Vegas. And so I went, and I tell you, it was the most amazing experience. I was totally taken care of. The business did fine while I was away, but I was able to write this book, The Next Step in Human Evolution, and Saint Germain would appear to me every morning, and he would literally tell me what to write. And uh, in chapter 10, he writes about he told me to write about artificial intelligence. The interesting thing was he would take me to the website. He'd tell me, okay, now go to this website. Okay, now go to this website. And it was interesting. The first thing he told me to do on chapter 10 is go to Initiative 2045. And so I clicked on that and, we started reading and he started telling me exactly what the agenda of the transhumanist movement was. And, it was interesting. It was like I had never heard of this before. And here this ascended master is taking me to the various websites and teaching me about this. And this was in 2015. January of 2015 was when I wrote the book. And the agenda of the uh, Initiative 2045 starts in 2015. And their agenda from 2015 to 2020, which is where we are now, is the emergence and widespread use of affordable Android avatars controlled by a brain computer interface. Coupled with related technologies, avatars will give people a number of new features ability to work in dangerous environments, perform rescue operations, travel in extreme situations, etc. Avatar components, sorry about this, my fingers don't turn the pages as well as I wish, uh, be used in medicine for the rehabilitation of fully or partially disabled patients, giving them prosthetic limbs or recovered lost senses. And guess what's happened? We have that technology right now. It exists. They have developed it so that you can even taste things artificially with sensors they can implant in your mouth. And the technology is absolutely amazing. I've seen people with these limbs that are attached to their brains, and they work and function perfectly. And so, like these guys have these legs that function, arms and hands that function with cybernetic material attached to them, and the skin feels soft and warm. It's like, holy cow, but they can peel it off and you can see the mechanical part underneath. And so, Saint Germain knew exactly where to take me and exactly what to talk about. Now, what does this have to do with this current pandemic? A lot to do with it. The Agenda 21 of the United Nations, they signed clear back in 1987 under the blessing of George Bush and Dick Cheney. Ronald Reagan was president at the time, but he was literally being told what to say and what to do by Cheney and George H. Bush. And the next one in line, and St. Germain told me this. He made me go down to South America and help Father Gabriel Mejia, and that was my second book after Saint Germain had come to me. I've actually written three books. First one was Take Back Your Health. Second one was this one, The Next Step in Human Evolution. The third one is Father Gabriel, a modern day saint. And Father Gabriel had been deeply involved with helping the children who had been orphaned down in Colombia from our cocaine wars that our CIA actually started to bring more money into the covert operation. And believe it or not, George H. Bush was the leader of the CIA, and he instigated a lot of these programs before he even became vice president. And as he became president, literally the CIA had full operation here in the United States. And it continued with Clinton, because Clinton made an agreement with Bush to allow the cocaine to be flown into Arkansas, and they would turn a blind eye to it in order for the cocaine to come in and be distributed to the bankers and the people of wealth. That's where the money was. Cocaine is cheap. It's manufactured out of coca leaves, and they just turn it into the coca alkaloid. And literally a suitcase of this stuff, a few kilograms would cost the people down in Colombia around maybe $50 to manufacture, and they'd bring it in and sell it for $1 million here in the United States or over. I mean, it became very expensive and very addictive, and all of the really rich and bankers participated in this, making literally billions and billions of dollars for the CIA, for the covert operations of our government, including the secret space program. And that was the other thing that Saint Germain revealed to me, was the secret space program. He, in fact, introduced me to James Gillen, Stephen Greer, uh, Randy Kramer. It was fascinating being introduced to these guys. And you can Google these people. Randy Kramer is a 20 and back soldier that served on Mars. Richard Greer has been visited by aliens since he was a little kid, and he wants to bring forth the Disclosure Project. And Saint Germain is totally behind us having the Disclosure Project to know the truth about what's actually going on this planet and in our solar system and out in the universe, because there's a lot of benevolent good stuff going on. There's wars too, and there's bad. The cabal is out there in space, but they want to change our planet, and they are terraforming our planet using aluminum and silicon and different things and putting these things in our atmosphere. And we are breathing these things in, and it is altering our physiology, changing us. Now, what does this have to do with this current plague? Everything, because the 5G is what they need to transmit all of this transhumanism technology to us and incorporate us in it. Now, this thing in Wuhan is a big experiment. Literally, these people have 10,000 5G network devices all around Wuhan. It had literally, there's only about 40,000 in the whole world so far. And they're just, their agenda is to get them all in by the end of 2020 so they can go to the next part of their agenda. When, you look at the website, the next part of the agenda from 2020 to 2035 is creation of autonomous life support system for the human brain linked to a robot, an avatar, and will save people whose body is completely worn out or incredibly damaged. Now, you think about people as we get older, we get worn out and we can be damaged. Any patient with an intact brain will be able to return to a fully functional bodily life. Such technologies will greatly enlarge the possibility of hybrid bioelectronic devices, thus creating a new IT, revolution, and will make all kinds of superimposition of electronics and biological systems possible. Now, it's interesting, the message from St. Germain, there's some missing information from 2025 to 2030, and that is missing on the webpage, as the remote viewers saw that another war about this technology would occur. And in this space-time possibility with military avatars surviving and propagating and thriving. Now, when Saint
Mhm,
Germain told me about that, he literally said that,
mhm.
there's going to be a war between humans and these avatars. And the avatars
Hmm.
will win unless we shift our consciousness 2020 to 25. He said that literally this is going to occur. Now, we are in that time of shifting our consciousness. Now, the good side is trying to get us to meditate, to connect to the divine. They're literally giving us all the hope, all the love we can get. Now, as we're shut down right now, instead of watching TV and feeding into the frenzy of fear of the agenda, because the agenda
Mm,
is the opposite of love. Fear is the absence of love. And so they're trying to pull us into the lower vibration so they can control our minds, turn us into zombies, get us to do the transhumanist thing and become the avatars. And so, right Now we have a choice. And you can dispute this all you want, but the choice is love or fear. If we feed into the fear, we're feeding into the agenda of transhumanism and Agenda 21, and they will destroy 7 billion of us. We'll end up with 500 million of us on the planet, but we'll all be transhumanistic creatures with implants, with all kinds of technology that is controlled through the 5G. And that that's the choice. Unless we choose love, we choose love, we're going to evolve as human beings rather than transhuman beings. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I think that we're having some chats going on in the live chat. Scott, everybody is happy to see you and they're wishing you well and they're appreciating. Some say the doctor is just what I needed this morning.
Well, now I'm going to talk about the hope, because that's the real message. You know, Jesus said, Scott, bring love in. Now, why is love so powerful? Love is why this universe was created in the first place. The love of God went into the void and said, let there be light. And boom, the Big Bang happened, and light, photons, energy was created. And this quantum energy started forming suns, started forming planets, started forming the universe, galaxies and dimensions, all that was created. Now, you know, we describe it as a big bang, but it was a thought and an intent from a being that intended with love to create all of this. And you know, it's interesting, as Saint Germain taught me a lot of. Oh,
Scott.
go ahead.
I'm going to say something that's pretty funny because, if we're talking, if the Big Bang was produced by love, it's got to be called the cosmic orgasm because it's got to be the only thing that creates. It's a creative force that created and gave birth to all of the galaxies and universes. So, I have to say that because it's really,
You know,
that.
you're speaking truth. I had a lady who I got to know who came up from Las Vegas, and it was fascinating because when she came in, I couldn't even see her auric field because she had put herself in stealth mode, and you couldn't see her. You know, even the people with these modern devices that can see all of us on the planet, you know, I couldn't see her auric field. And I said, "Are you a ghost? What are you?" You know, and she says, "Oh, I got my stealth on." I said, "Well, turn it off for a minute." And she says, "I don't want the bad people to see me because they're trying to kill me." And she came in with stage 4 breast
Mm.
cancer. In fact, she looked like a radiation victim because she had all of these horrible wounds all over her body and her backside, and literally she was dying, and she looked like somebody who'd been exposed to radiation or some sort of device shooting radiation at her. And he said, "I came to you because I was praying and source told me to come to you and you would heal me." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll do what I can," you know, because she looked horrible. I didn't think I could do anything, but because, you know, I've healed myself of stage 4 cancer and many, many other people, I figured, well, you know, let's do it. So I hooked her up to my EV device, which is a body scan 2010, and I scanned her, but her energy was so low, the scanner had trouble picking her up. So I had to augment her energy. So I literally sent love to her. And when I did that, she said, "Oh, give me more of that." And I was like, "This is interesting."
Mhm.
And you know, I knew the vibration of love because a benevolent being, an Elohim by the name of Hercules and Amazonia, there's two of them, healed my heart in 2001 at Half Dome in Yosemite National Park. I was hiking up the mountain had a heart attack. They came to me and literally gave me a new heart, and I haven't had a heart problem since. But that vibration, that frequency, that emotion of energy, I sent that to this woman, and she could feel it. And she's like, give me more of that. And so I gave her more. And all of a sudden she starts showing up on the monitor, and her energy level rose up. And we ran the whole program. I made her 2 remedies. And I told her to go home, take the remedies, take 3 drops 3 times a day of the lymphatic remedy, and then the remedy that the machine picked up. Her body needed these frequencies, and it works on homeopathic principles of Dr. Hahnemann. But these machines are incredible devices. And yes, the deep state knows about them, and they confiscated them and persecuted people, and then they finally just decided to leave it alone, I hope. But anyway, to make a long story short, she came in the next day and she had the 2 bottles, and she said, these need to be recharged. And I said, what did you do? She said, well, I sucked the energy out of them and I need more energy. So I said to her, okay, I'll recharge them. And I charged them up with the same energy. And I was inspired to say to her, go sit in the sun and ask the sun people to bring you the plasma and light from our sun, and pour that plasma and light over your body to help heal your body. Because this is very minor energy, but you can ask the sun people to come in. And so anyway, the next day, here she comes again. And she's got her 2 bottles. She says, oh, the energy's all gone. You need to charge them up again. And I said, your auric field looks much brighter today. What happened? She said, well, I did what you told me. I sat in the sun and I asked the sun people to come in. And these golden beings came in, and they had this big vase filled with this liquid plasma, and they poured it over my body. And she said, look, and she lifts up her shirt, and I'm just sitting here just laughing because, here she is exposing me to her body, but her body was totally healed. All of the deep wounds, all of the cancerous uh, ulcers were gone. And I was like, holy crap, and came to find out that she actually was the architect who built the display down on, in downtown Las Vegas. And the cabal refused to pay her fee as the architect. And she started a lawsuit against them, and they literally were trying to kill her so they didn't have to pay her millions of dollars. But, it just demonstrates to you the power of love. Love heals everything. Love can transmute energy. Love can heal us. It healed me. I mean, I have to admit, I wouldn't be here talking to you today if Hercules and Amazonia hadn't come in, sent me the love to my love chakra, my heart, and heal my heart. Now, why am I telling you this story? Because we need to fall in love with ourselves again. We judge ourselves, we're jealous of others, we have been formatted to serve in a selfish way rather than a selfless way. Love serves in a selfless way. In other words, we do things just because we love all the people, we love the planet, we love the universe, we love animals, we love plants, we love all of the beings that were created by God, all the angels, the archangels, everything. And we express that through our love of our heart.
You know, what's interesting, Scott, if I can jump in at this point, is that we're actually coordinated with the colors of our shirts today, and it was obviously the first thing we noticed when we started the report today. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that these are very high vibration colors, and to me, they are very almost um, well, they're comforting colors, I think, and that does, you know, help to me, you know, to keep the vibration high. You know, it's really interesting because I think you just I hate to talk in absolutes, but it seems that since love is the most powerful, and I'm not saying this like I'm Confucius or anything, but you know, I've heard this across many different disciplines and people who would say love is the most powerful force in the universe. I think even Albert Einstein said that. Um, and since it's so powerful, think about who that threatens. It threatens the Satanists, the Luciferians, the people who want to who where love is a threat to them because they know how powerful it is. So what
Yes.
do they do? What did they do? They came here, they created fear. Fear is the opposite of love. And like I said, I hate to talk in absolutes, but you know, the more we're talking about it, the more I'm thinking about it, the
Yes.
more the more fear is the one thing that blocks that love from coming into our heart chakras and coming into our life is fear. When you have fear, you cannot allow love into your heart. If you fear rejection, if you fear, and this is coming from my psychology background, so I'm talking with some experience here, that you know, when you are fearful, you're blocking not only your own growth, but you're denying and robbing yourself of your own fulfillment. Fear, as many people have heard, you know, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Fear is what blocks you from feeling that love and allowing the love to come in from the universe, from your creator. And the dark know this. They know this. The thing is that we don't know this. So we need to step up our game and we need to realize that that's the answer. We fear relationships. We fear getting hurt again. We fear investing ourselves. We fear giving our trusting our deepest, most intimate desires in our soul to another person and fear that that's going to be betrayed. So what do? We build a wall around us emotionally and we don't let anyone in so that stays protected. But you're blocking the love and you're blocking and you're living in fear then. So what you're doing is, you know, it's like this is your heart, right?
Yes.
How much of it is filled with fear? How much of your heart has fear in it? And that's what's sad is that the dark have that all figured out. If we act
Yes.
out of love and not selfishness and not greed and not fear, then we will defeat this invisible enemy. And you can call it whatever you want, but that's the answer. It's
It
clearly the
is.
answer.
It is clear the answer. And Jesus said to me, Scott, you've got to say everything with the love from your heart. And, you know, I've been given the frequency and the energy of a perfected heart. I mean, the doctors are amazed when they examine me because literally I had rheumatic fever when I was 4 years old, was not treated with antibiotics because we were too poor to go to the doctor. And I ended up with mitral valve prolapse and tricuspid valve
Mm,
insufficiency. I had an enlarged heart the whole time I was a kid. I was told you can't play sports, and yet my love of playing sports was so much. I said, I don't care if I die. I'm going to play sports anyway. So I always would tell my doctor, I'd say, please let me play. If I'm going to die, I'd rather die happy playing than my sport being active. And it was interesting because my whole life, you know, I had this little recess going, oh, my heart's not perfect, but I'm going to do whatever I desire to do. And, you know, one of the things I grew up being a patriot, so I wanted to be a flight surgeon. That was my true desire. And I applied to the uniformed services and I actually got accepted, but I had to go do a physical exam. And in the physical, they examined me. They said, oh, well, everything's perfect except for your heart. And I'm like, no, they said you cannot fly. And so I decided, well, I guess I'm going to give up that aspiration. So then I decided to go to a regular medical school. But, you know, it's interesting how we're driven into different things. And even that rheumatic fever as a kid that created the rheumatic fever that created the heart problems, it gave me the opportunity at the age of 45 go hike up Half Dome. And I was inspired to go to Half Dome. I was told, if you want to be healed, go to Half Dome, hike up Half Dome in Yosemite National Park. And so I just did what the spirit told me. And I didn't realize I was going to have a heart attack and have to release everything to receive a new heart. And they told me I was, you know, using my energy inappropriately. I was giving it to people in an inappropriate way because, you know, I was giving people everything, especially my current wife at the time. And they told me I needed to take back my energy or I wouldn't get off the mountain. And the second that I said I take back all my energy, that was when the love transmuted and corrected my heart and it became perfect. And the doctors I go to now, they're like, oh, you don't have any sign of any kind of rheumatic disease or problem. In fact, you got the heart of a 26-year-old. And, you know, uh, to me, I haven't had chest pain since. I haven't had a problem. My heart's never been the problem. Even 3 years ago, when the cabal tried to kill me, my heart was constantly going and it was not stopping. Every other organ was shutting down, but not my heart. And so, you know, it goes to show you that that love energy can heal everything. In fact, what brought me back into my body was my love for my family. Because when Vicky walked in, I saw her future and she became very depressed and she didn't accomplish what her life purpose was. And then I saw my two youngest kids and they didn't accomplish their life purpose. So my love for them brought me back into my body. And, you know, our love is what will change the world. It's going to change everybody and everything, not the fear. Fear doesn't change anything, it makes things worse. And so don't feed into the fear. Learn from this love energy. Not only learn from it, but incorporate it into your bodies, incorporate it into your heart. You will find your health will improve. Your mind will become more peaceful, more congruent. In fact, you know, Brain Math, a company that started many years ago, they had a little machine that tested your coherence between your brain energy and your heart energy. And when you got in coherence or alignment with those two centers in your body, you could become more creative. You became happier, healthier, more abundant because the blessings of the universe can come through easier when we're in alignment with the love of the creative energy. We actually, you know, Tesla, believe it or not, when he would go into meditation, he knew the power of love and he would use that power of his heart and mind to envision and attach to the creator of the universe and saw everything and how everything functioned and the torus and all of the energetic functions of everything. And it was incredible what he came up with. And then, you know, the jealousy and all of the other things came in, and people stole all his ideas and used them for covert things and actually hid them from us. Now, one of the other chapters in the next step in human evolution is about free energy devices. Now, why did Saint Germain? I didn't have a clue about this, but Tesla made devices that could draw from the quantum field all the energy needed to run everything on the planet without polluting the planet. But the, petroleum cartel and all these, people, they didn't want that technology out, and so they literally hid these free energy devices, and they put patents on them, and the government has all the patents, all the control. And if you light up one of these devices, and they're easy to make. Saint Germain showed me how to make one. But he said, don't turn it on because they'll see it and they'll come grab it away from you, and they might put you back in the douche cow. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to go there again. So, so anyway, but there's a whole chapter about these free energy devices, and the simplicity of them is incredible. I literally did a coil where it runs opposite each other of wires, and this will draw in the energy, and then you hook it up and you can run all kinds of stuff. But one small device can run literally cities of 10,000, and these are devices that just don't run out because they just draw off the quantum field energy. But it's interesting, as I look back, 5 years ago is when I wrote this in January of 2015, and it's fascinating how Saint Germain gave us so many tools, like the 24 strand DNA manifestation. And he actually told me, excuse me, that everything has DNA in it. When God created the universe, uh, DNA was put into everything. And if you look at DNA and you watch how when it comes open, it actually opens up, and different particles of the DNA become pyramids, and they become two pyramids, and they come down on each other, and they become a rotating Merkaba. Now, this has been shown and proven, by science, that our DNA creates everything. There's no such thing as junk DNA. That's a fallacy the scientists have been
Right.
teaching us, but our DNA actually runs everything in our body, creates the proteins, creates the energy of our auric field, because it draws that in by making Merkabas. Now, these. I was told to study the Kabbalah years ago, and it talks about the tree of life and how this tree of life has pillars and a central energy and different aspects of it. And these trees of life are made out of DNA. And so all of this information is available to us, but it's kind of a cult, and people go, oh, geez, I don't want to see it because it's hidden. But these things are revealed. The Cabal called themselves Kabbalists because they use this energy for their nefarious things. They
Right.
have controlled the dark energy as well as the light, but they've occulted the light and made it mysterious. But there's a law, a universal law, that they have to reveal so all humans have free agency, free choice. And so that's why they have to make these movies that teach truth, but they do it in an occult way, so it seems like it's this fantastic stuff out of who knows where. But actually, it's a law that they have to tell us their agenda so that we can have free choice. Now, that free choice is love or control and fear. And I choose love. And I hope that each of you will choose love. Educate yourselves. Choose everything using your heart's love. And let me tell you, by meditating, putting our mind in congruence with our heart's love is the most powerful thing you can do. You will see the truth. You will hear the truth. You will know the truth. You will feel the truth. And that feeling, that higher feeling of love, is the most powerful creative energy to create that we have as humans. That's why they want to control the human, is we control love.
Well, right. They want to control the consciousness for that reason. They want to create us in fear, keep us in fear consciousness, so that they can, we're like a battery pack. We're like transistors to them, right? So they can manipulate, get whatever kind of energy they want out of us to manipulate their world. The bottom line is this, we've done it their way for quite a long time now, and it's time for us to use our free will. And I'm telling you, this is really high vibrational stuff, okay? You have to love like your very next breath depends on it, because it
Yes,
essentially, because it really
it
truly
really
does.
does. You're
If you really,
absolutely
if
right.
you went underwater and you needed to take that very next breath in order to, and you feel that sensation of having to come up for air because you're holding your breath and you're suffocating. Well, how many times do we feel like we're holding our breath and suffocating in relationships out of fear? And
Yes,
so you get that feeling like you need to come up and you need to take that breath of air, as much as you need to feel like you need to love in the same sense of urgency, because that our survival is going to depend on that. It's going to depend on our ability to love. And let me tell you, um, you know, uh, we're all here for our own soul lessons. We're all here for our soul growth. These are high vibrational, higher level consciousness type messages. I'm not saying that it's easy. This isn't an easy place. We know that. But the thing is we need to collectively transcend the difficulties on this planet, and we need to just love everybody, unconditionally, no matter what
yes.
you did, no matter what you did. Because ultimately, it's the creator judging you. Ultimately, it's you judging yourself. I'll tell you, Scott, it's very difficult when you look at people in hospice. It's very difficult. I remember seeing a video of some people in hospice who were in terminal condition, and
Yes.
they're there, reading the Bible. They're facing their last days. And this is difficult. It's very difficult, because what do you think you would be thinking in your last days if you knew that you had your days were numbered? I mean, and you knew, actually all of our days are numbered. We just don't know when that day and that number is going to be. So we all should be behaving like we're in hospice. Because what happens when you look at these documentaries and you just search it on YouTube and you watch people who are facing their mortality and they know it. They've been made aware, consciously, painfully consciously aware, that they have a terminal condition and they're in hospice. And what do you think they're thinking? I'll tell you what they're thinking. A lot of them are thinking, that's the moment when you can't lie to yourself anymore. You can lie to yourself throughout your entire life. There comes a point in time when you can't lie to yourself anymore. And sadly, if you're in hospice and that's when it happens, uh, unless you've got a good deal with God, you're not getting a second chance at it. You can't go back and fix anything, because that's what they're doing. They're negotiating with God. I'll do it better. That's the moment you see yourself for all your flaws and all the things that you've done, because you're negotiating with God. You're saying, I'll go back. I'll do this. I'll be more generous. I'll be more kind. I'll be more loving. I won't care about these stupid ego things. I won't care about these stupid pride and this. Why was I so consumed with all these stupid things that didn't matter when love was the only thing that really mattered? Is God going to give you that second chance for you to go back and correct that? That's up to you. But what I'm saying is, if we all realize and have a little bit more awareness of our mortality, which is every day, because we don't know when our number is going to be called. You got to live your life like it's your last in that regard, because we never know when it will be. That's all we can do. There's just so much in life we cannot control and we have no control over. So why would you let fear, why would you spend your last days in fear, or your rest of your days in fear of anything? Now, I understand the fear has a certain, protective function as well, but not when it dominates your life. That's not a balanced, that's not a balanced energy. the reality is we are all facing our mortality every day. We're still here because we're still here. So
Yeah.
right, Scott? So it's like we have to face our mortality every day. And the question is, you should be having that conversation every day with God anyway, or whoever your creator is, whoever you connect with, whoever your soul connects with, right? You should be
Yeah.
having that conversation every day, because the one thing I'm telling you that is the hardest thing to live with is regrets for not doing things, not for doing things that you made mistakes doing, but for not correcting those mistakes and not having the chance to fix those things. There's a lot of souls right now that want to reincarnate on this planet because they want the opportunity to come back and fix things.
Yes.
So that we the idea that we do the best that we can, right? We tell the people that we love them, even if they're imperfect, because we're also imperfect. Um, in our we're here. It's as a school. We're here to learn, folks. We're not here to be perfect. Everybody wants to be right about Austin Steinbart. They want to be right. That's all that matters to them, is that they're right. Whatever their opinion is that it's right. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter. What matters is, what message is he saying? And over time, we're going to find out exactly what more is behind it. But you know what? If Weston Steinbart's a bad guy, if he's aligned with an enemy, wouldn't you want to know? Wouldn't you want to keep him close? Wouldn't you want to put him on the air and talk to him? Wouldn't you want to listen to him and know who this other enemy is? Because they're the ones who are trying to take over the world right now. And if you want to understand how to defeat an enemy, you have to know your enemy. Know thy enemy, right? Know thyself, but know thy enemy as well. So you can't fight. You can't fight. You can't defeat an enemy if you don't know your enemy. Sun Tzu. And Trump is brilliant about this. Trump keeps, and look at this Fauci guy. Oh, please, I've been reporting about him in my POTUS reports. And you know, Trump's brilliant, and a lot of people criticize him for keeping some of these neocons around him. He's keeping an eye on them. He's keeping a very close. He's a very smart man, Trump, whether you like him or not. But that's the whole point, folks. We lose sight of the fact that we should be facing our mortality every single day, not living in fear at all, because that's not a productive energy. We need to be saying, we're not. If something were to happen, what would be your last words? Who would you want to communicate? And would you want to tell them you love them? Isn't it about love? Wouldn't your last words be to communicate that you love somebody? So why wait? Do it now. Do it today. And don't wait to be told to do this. Do it. Do it. Unblock your heart. Take the fear out of your heart to unblock it. Fear of abandonment. We've all been abandoned. Feel fear of being hurt. We've all been hurt, but we've still got to heal that and let that wound close, and keep. You know, we can't give up on love. That's the one thing we can't do. We can never give up on it. It's all we have left, but it's everything that we need. That's all I have to say. Sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
Oh, let me tell you, you just opened up your heart to your entire audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's what Jesus told me on Monday. Scott, open up your heart. Send that frequency of love out to people. Now, what's going to shift the planet? Love. So, all of us, if we all access that love, and how do we do that? By concentrating on our heart with our mind and focusing on doing love. Now, how do you do love? It's not what the Kabbalists have told us, go have sex, whatever.
Mm.
It's about not hoarding your toilet paper. It's about not hoarding your food. It's about taking care of your neighbor and loving your neighbor as you love yourself.
Mhm.
You know, I tell you, some of the words that came from Jesus were just magnificent. And they when the Pharisee asked him, well, how about this law and this law and this law? if you love God and love your neighbor as you love yourself, that fulfills all the laws. Now, I know this is interesting, but I was told also to teach you going into your breathing and focusing on your brain going into your heart. And believe it or not, we have people out there teaching us these things, but literally just focusing your mind on opening up your heart's love will open that up. And a lot of us haven't opened our heart chakra for so long. One of the reasons people have chest pain is the heart isn't getting enough energy or oxygen because we're not breathing properly. So breathe in the love of God and breathe out your love back. It's the most powerful thing. Breathe in the love of God and then breathe out your love back to God. And what does that do? It connects you to that love of God. Now, one of the reasons they put fluoride and chlorine into everything is it stops our pineal gland, which is our God gland in the center of our brain that produces melatonin, serotonin, and DMT and its metabolites. And when you activate the pineal gland, you actually activate the torus around your body. Now, we activate our pineal gland by taking and activating our brain into our heart. And then you focus on that little teeny pineal gland, uncreating all the calcification and problems because of the fluoride and chlorine. And you actually, when you uncreate that stuff, decalcify your pineal. Pineal opens, forms the torus. And then you go into gratitude, and gratitude sends another energy. You keep going with the torus, and then you get into the other energy with your gratitude, and it brings energy back in to the nervous system and your entire body. And this has been proven time and time again. There are teachers out there teaching us. There's a lot of people like to back it with the science. Joe Dispenza has done this. He's shown that when you get in coherence, you can light up your whole brain and activate your entire body with energy and healing and get the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, fear stimulates sympathetic nervous system, putting out adrenochrome and all the other things that we're addicted to. But going into the parasympathetic brings that love energy, that healing energy, that calming, peaceful energy back into our body using our pituitary, and combined with our pineal, we can activate all of the good hormones from our pituitary gland, the human growth hormone, the adrenal corticotrophic hormone that helps our adrenal glands repair, because the fear just exhausts our adrenal glands. It also stimulates prolactin and the hormones that make us feel bliss. When women are nursing their babies, it's very blissful because that stimulation produces more prolactin and the hormones from the posterior pituitary, and it activates this bliss within our system. And it's very powerful, calming you and putting you in a state of harmony and bliss with nature, with the universe, with your body and the baby's body or whoever you're next to. And so, and Pitocin and all of these hormones start being produced in adequate levels. Now, everything they've done has affected our pituitary and our pineal gland. By they, the agenda, the cabal, they don't want us to function as human beings, as whole beings. And so they've cut off God. by cutting off our pineal and pituitary, and they've cut off even the resemblance by God. You know, Congress has quit praying because all the Democrats don't believe in God. They believe in the Kabbalah and they have that agenda. And they're bringing about that transhumanist socialist agenda. And it sounds good to people, especially when they remove the God factor. But we need to bring that love back into us. Bring that back in. Go ahead.
And I'm just looking at some of the comments as they're going on because we do love to. I know that Scott unfortunately can't see it, but people are really loving your message today, and many are adding to as you're speaking about the pineal gland. Many are adding comments about that, and they're really enjoying everything. I just wanted to say that in terms of the messages, I think that's why Scott and I work really well doing this together because uh, there's people on different, levels of consciousness out there. So, um, so the communication is kind of multi level, and
Yes,
multi-dimensional.
yes.
So it's a multi-level communication so that it reaches something of the message reaches everybody. It might not be the whole message. People who are in different consciousness levels will get something different out of it. But I wanted to screen share. I just took the time. I mean, how many people actually ever do this? But I just took the time. I just took the time to screen share the listing, the dictionary definition for love, because what's really interesting is that. Sorry, hold on one second. I gotta get the thing up here. Okay. What's really interesting is that we really never looked at the word. And if we really looked at the word love, I think we would understand a little bit more. It's not just a noun, folks. A profoundly tender, passionate affection for another person, a feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection, as for a parent, child, or friend, sexual passion or desire. But love, what everybody forgets is a verb. It's the verb that is going to make the difference. It's not just the feeling. That's what the noun is talking about. We're talking about the verb because it's
Yes.
it's it's an it's an action word, okay? It is uh how you love. It is what love is the act of love. It's the act of loving that is what gives the expression. What is that song? Michael Jackson, "Love Needs Expression," and it says the song "She's Out of My Life," right? Love needs expression, and those were very very profound lyrics for a little pop song. Not little, it was probably quite big, but um, Michael Jackson knew what he was doing. He was very well aware of what he was doing and how powerful his messages were, and the role that he was playing. And I guess that's the whole point is that, um, regret is a very bitter pill to live with. It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth the rest of your life. Why have it, right? Why have
Absolutely.
regret? Usually regret isn't so much, Scott, I mean, please weigh in on this too. I mean, regret is usually things that you didn't do.
Yes.
I mean, they could be things you said, but usually, you wish you didn't say something. But I don't know. Some people may regret, yes, having said or done something. But I think when people think of regret, when you're really talking about facing the end of your life, it is by far the lack of things, the things that you wish you did. Now, if we're going to be sitting, I think just imagine yourself sitting in a retirement home, watching all the people. Just get this visual in your mind, really. Will do yourself and your family and your loved ones a favor because this is what I teach my kids, okay? Because it's about we are all going to age. We're all going to go through this life and expire. That is guaranteed. We know this, right? And the funny thing is you're going to get to an age when you're just not going to be able to do the thing. You're clearly going to be elderly and you're not going to be able to do the things you wanted to do. And you have to ask yourself, are you going to stand there and say, I'm glad I did this, and that? Are you going to stand there in regret and say, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. Either you live carpe diem, seize the day and live your life to the fullest. Don't let fear hold you back. Or are you going to be living with regret? Because, folks, it's going to happen. You are going to be facing yourself one day when you can no longer deceive yourself. You can no longer ignore the world around you and the people around you. It's going to happen. And the question is, are you going to be saying, I'm glad I did, or I wish I did? Because let me tell you, there's a big difference in what quality of life you're going to have at that point in time. Are you going to be in your old age wondering what life could have been had you not allowed fear to control it? Or are you going to be saying, damn, I took every chance there was and I had a great life I was living? And it might not have been, I wasn't a movie star, I wasn't rich, I wasn't this, but I took every opportunity and seized it, and this happened and that happened. And what an adventure you're going to have to tell your life story.
Yeah.
It might not be Hollywood. It might not be, billionaire jet setters around the world. That can get boring after a while. Sure, it's fun, but still you're looking for more meaning. And it's about self-efficacy. It's about the fact that you made those determinate decisions. You made those decisions that determined the course of your life and determined, you know, Scott, how many times have we looked back on our life and we see sometimes we were just like, you go into something and you're like, oh, all right, I'll do it, whatever. And you really don't know why you're doing it, and you feel led to doing it. And you just see all these you see like these things you do that seem to jump around. But oh my God, one day it all becomes clear why you had to take that long and winding road. And you look back and you see every step of the way, had you not taken those chances, you would have never ended up where you were. So it's kind of like you have to have this faith a little bit. And I don't know, you know, it's like the fool in the tarot card deck, right? Taking that leap of faith, right? And and
Absolutely.
and we have to take those leaps of faith, and we can't allow fear, to dominate and control our life, because we are the only ones holding ourselves back.
Yes.
So I just wanted to bring that in, because love is a verb, folks, and it's not simply just what I feel for somebody and how someone makes me feel or how someone makes you feel. It's Love is so much more than just a feeling. It is how you love. What is love to you? What is it like to be loved? You just wake up in the morning and you make a cup of tea for your spouse. That's love. If that's all they do, it's not much, but you might want to ask for a little more than that. But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, um, you know, how do you love? Do you tell the person you love them? Do you do little things for them because they like it? I mean, you and Vicky are such a beautiful couple, and the two of you, I could just imagine, could really talk about love really, really well. And you know what, Scott? We need to talk about love as serious of a topic as this pandemic is a serious topic.
Maybe
Because
that's what we better do next week. Bring Vicky on and we'll talk about that.
let's talk about, I'm telling you, you've got to talk about love. People shy away. They don't want to talk about things that are intimate. They don't want to, if we're trying to tell the people, right, that love is this important, then why aren't we talking about it more? Why aren't we
Yes.
saying, what is it? Let's talk about love.
All you
We
need
really
is
need.
love, love.
Sorry, so
That's all. Love is all you need. Oh, I love that statement. And thank you. Louisa, you truly doing what you're doing is out of your love for
it is.
for humanity and this planet and helping us all wake up, because love is what we do need to wake up to, and we need to do it now. And it's going to literally shift everything. You know that through love we can uncreate this virus. We can uncreate the transhumanist agenda. We can uncreate everything that is harmful to our children, to everything, and build a world that is blissful and happy and get ready for the ascension, which is coming. You know, it's not like we have to stay in this third dimension. God has created a evolution for us through the ascension process. And what is the ascension process? It's moving into the light and plasma of the fifth dimension, where we become creators. We move out of time space into space time. And in other words, there is no time, and we're able to just create, and just be in love. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is freeing all the people from their fear, from the agendas of fear, and creating the ascension process, which, we missed out on planet Earth. Actually, through the love of God, we didn't go through the ascension because there was only 300,000 of us ready in 2012. And so they put it off because of their love for us as a species, as humans, as earthlings. And our job is to come back and breathe in that love of the universe and breathe out our love back into the universe and into all the humans on the planet. That is the simplest. Now that's putting it in very simple terms, but that's what we need as people right now, because we've been so indoctrinated, so much in fear, that we need simple ways. There's teachers out there who have put YouTubes out on meditating the pineal gland, meditating to bring the heart and love of God in coherence to us. And those things are available. How many of us even spend a minute with those things? How many of us spend, we've started a game night since we're, pretty much confined to home. And we play games with our kids and we have fun. We love each other. We've created this energy where we interact and we're able to just have fun together. And it's been delightful. I don't think we've played these many games with our kids since for years, and it's sad. I'm admitting my faults here, but right now it's a time to love each other, to play games with each other, to have fun with each other, to be kind to each other, and spread that love out, because it's going to be the most powerful thing to change everything. If you're in fear, get out of that fear and start breathing in the love from the universe and back out. My dad's so dang funny. He loves having me come talk to him because I talk to him flat out about truth and about love and this and that. And I even asked him, I said, because I know he doesn't believe in God anymore because his pineal's been shut down. He's an engineer, he's very scientific, very science based. And I said to him, "Why do you still go to the Catholic Church?" And he laughs and he says, "Just in case." And I tell you, we had the
Oh, that's
best
funny.
laugh. Oh my hell. And I
Just
said,
in
"Dad,
case.
just believe, go with intent, go with the intent to love God." And he was so funny, and he said, "Boy, that really makes me laugh."
Oh, that is hysterical. I mean, he gets the credit for it, huh?
Oh my
You still
gosh.
have to give him some credit. That's pretty funny.
I thought that was the
Hysterical.
funniest answer. But all of you out there, do it just in case.
Just in
Because
case.
I'm telling you the truth. I have experienced it. Everybody always goes, "Well, why is Saint Germain coming to you? Why isn't he not coming to me?"
Mhm.
And I tell them, I asked for 6 months for an answer, just an answer to a question. And it took 6 months of constant badgering and asking.
Yeah.
And I did not give up. And that's what all of us need to do. We just need to believe and not give up and not feed into the fear, but feed into the love of the universe, which was why it was created.
All right, let's talk about this this ascension that's coming up.
Okay.
Surface population.
I tell you, the Ascension, I did a whole 12-week mentoring on the Ascension from September 24th through December 17th. It is available on the YouTube channel. They haven't removed it, thank God for the love. And but in that we teach about what Saint Germain has taught me about. The whole reason he brought in the 24 strand DNA is that is the perfect amount of DNA to have in the third dimension. But he also taught me, and he had to remind me that as we move into higher dimensions, we need to incorporate even more DNA. So in the fourth dimension, you double it to 48. In the fifth dimension, double it up to 96, and so forth. And there's multiple dimensions, multiple universes. There's an omniverse out there that is just amazing.
So
Now,
I'm sorry, just to be
oh,
clear, you're
go ahead.
talking about etheric DNA. You're not necessarily talking about physical. You're talking about
Well,
etheric.
yeah, when we go
Yes.
into the fifth
You-
dimension, it's literally light and plasma.
yeah.
And so the DNA we are creating beyond the 24 strands
Hmm.
goes into that higher dimensional state. And as we form these DNA, I had a guy call me up and he was so funny. He says, "Doc, I want to thank you. I've been wanting to get off heroin and cocaine my whole life. I'm 60 years old. And by doing the 24 strand DNA, I was able to just stop. On the day that I finished the 24 strand DNA manifestation, all of a sudden I didn't need it anymore because I was in bliss, I was in happiness, and I didn't need that cocaine to elevate my body anymore. I didn't need the heroin. I just needed that
Mm.
24 strand DNA. And I'm like, yeah, it brought in the love of God to you and you didn't need it anymore. And he was so happy. He was so funny because
Yeah.
he didn't really actually understand the whole process
Hmm.
yet, but he called to thank me for helping him with that. Now, when we move into the ascension in this fifth dimension, there is no evil, there is no fear, there is none of this
Hmm.
crap that they're keeping our vibration down into the matter. When we go into fear, when we go into all of these lower vibrations, we become more matter, we become more third dimensional. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to screen share here that there is a meditation, mass meditation coming up. If you want to go to 2012portal.blogspot.com, this is Cobra's website. This is the Ascension Timeline End of Coronavirus Meditation for April 4th and 5th. Check out this; it's 6 days away. We have trying to reach 1 million people meditating at the same time. I also have some information that it's very possible there could be some interruption in the internet. So if that were to happen, folks, you should just uh, go to this website and get the uh, instructions for the meditation and the time. Make sure you get your time zone correct, so we're synchronizing together for this meditation, right? And also, if you like to have the guided meditation, make sure you download that so that you have that. Because
On
if
your
we
computer.
yeah, if we do lose internet for a little while for whatever reason, um, you'll have that, and just synchronize and schedule to do it whether we have internet or not, or there's interruptions. Because we did our POTUS report yesterday. The president called up almost 1 million reservists, so we got some stuff that's getting ready to go down, and we just want to be careful, because we want this meditation to go forward. So people, whether you have it or not, just get prepared to do it. So this is a really good meditation. I think everybody should do it. um, and that's a good thing. And to sort of wrap this up today, Scott, I wanted to, see if you would give us a blessing once you're done, finished with your comments.
Absolutely. I noticed there's a little cosmology in there, the Jupiter Pluto
Yeah.
thing. And this is the most powerful energy. And we're right in that energy right now. And we
Hmm.
can choose fear or
Hmm.
we can choose love. And so, right now, if we not if, when we get enough people in that love consciousness and meditating with that love consciousness, breathing with that love consciousness, we will shift everything on this planet and bring everything into the love consciousness. Literally, we will do what we needed to do back in 2012, create the ascension process. And it is a process, it takes time. When Jesus came back after he was resurrected, he was not yet ascended yet. So he didn't want anybody to touch him, but he continued teaching the process of the ascension. And then when the day of Pentecost came,
Hmm.
the ascension process came, Jesus ascended into heaven, and so did thousands of the people who did what he taught them. They also ascended into this loving fifth dimension. And that is the process of evolution for humanity. So the next step in human evolution is to evolve into these loving fifth dimensional beings. Now, those of us who want to stay in the density, stay in the third dimension, we need to be at a higher vibration of at least being good, being kind, being in higher energy, because the ones who are not during the ascension process, they will not be allowed to continue because of God's love. The evil ones will be reabsorbed back into the great central sun and cease to exist in this form because they're choosing not to follow the love of God. And this universe was designed to be loving and kind and hopeful. And so just know, all you guys that are thinking the bad things or hooked up into the bad agenda, disconnect yourself and just breathe in the love of the universe, breathe the universe's love back out to the universe, and you will be forgiven. You will receive the ascension, you will receive the
Yeah.
processes to shift your consciousness back into the light. So I was supposed to give you that opportunity because God loves all of us. Even if we've created some really nasty stuff, we can come back into the light. It's like Jesus said when he forgave, the lady who had just committed adultery, and said, just go and sin no more. I do not condemn thee.
Hmm.
Just go and sin no more and come into the love consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's when you don't correct the mistakes is when they remain mistakes. Otherwise, they're
Yes.
just learning opportunities.
Yes.
And we have to practice also, Scott, we also have to practice forgiveness too. As
Oh,
hard as that
absolutely.
is, ho'oponopono, as you always say, Scott. If
Oh,
that's not,
pono the crap out of him, man.
yeah, I'm telling you, Scott, I'm surprised you haven't. This is like the first time we mentioned it, and we're about to close out the report today. Holy cow.
Oh, I love Ho'oponopono. And if you're wondering what it is, shoot me an email. I'll shoot you the Ho'oponopono. Oh, it's fun.
Exactly. So I want to thank all of our viewers, everybody, and all of our viewers who have joined us in the live chat. We do appreciate you being here. A lot of people are like, "Who wants to stay in the third dimension?" No one here, right? Exactly. We're done. I think we put in our we put our time in down here, right, Scott?
Well,
But
get into the love and you can move on.
that's the idea. There's no free passes, right? I mean, we're
Right.
not going to move on. If we're going to stay in duality consciousness, we're not moving on. So
Yep.
the problem is trying to move on when you're still here because you have one foot in and one foot out, and we're still bound by the 3D because we're still here. So ultimately, it's like an anchor holding us back, you know, uh, and of course, the dark ones want to keep us held back. They don't want us to ascend, but you know, we have to be stronger than that, folks. We have to be really strong and definitely
And
learn
and we need
forgiveness.
your energy, because the more of us who are in this consciousness of love, we are going to be the ones to shift everyone else
Yeah.
into the consciousness of love. So
Mhm.
be that which you desire, and it will happen.
Be the love that you
Be the
desire.
love.
Be the love. Maybe I'll name this report, Be the Love.
Be the love, because that's what we need to do.
It's true, because we need to be the verb love. We need to be always in the act of love all the time, whether it's, um, people are like, oh, well, I just didn't love her enough, or I didn't love him enough. I didn't show him enough how much I loved them. I may have showed them a little bit or told them, but I never showed them. I never hugged them. I never, appreciated them. I didn't buy them this, or not that the buying is anything. It's just one expression of love. It's just another expression of it. Sometimes that's how people express their love, but I'm not saying that that's necessary for love, because it absolutely is not. But
I just gotta say one other thing.
everybody likes getting flowers.
There's a Mexican restaurant here in St. George. With every order, they had to close down their restaurant.
Oh, right.
But they were doing the phone orders,
Mhm.
and with every order, they were including a roll of toilet paper. Now
Oh,
that was true love.
wow, that's true. But you know what, Scott? We forgot that before diapers came out, we used cloth diapers. So anybody can still use cloths and wipe them and disinfect them if we run out of toilet paper. It isn't the end of the world if
No,
we
it
run out
isn't.
of toilet paper.
But
Just
I
stay.
thought that was so
It
wonderful.
was. And you know what? I shared a little clip and on our blog, the goldfishreport.blogspot.com. On our blog, I did a post. What is it? I think it's Resolute Reads from the White House. And there was a little video clip in there of what so many people are doing around the country to express love and to help people right now. And, from little kids trying to put packets together for people, all kinds of things to help people who, and we said this in another report that we did recently, Scott, that this is going to bring out the goodness in humanity. It's either going to bring out our best or our worst. And we
Yes.
have, our choices are going to determine whether we be our best through this, or we be our worst through it. Do you know what I mean? There's really nothing else. There's
And
no other
fear
choice right
brings out the worst in us. Fear
now. Yeah.
brings out the worst.
We've got to get away from fear. We've got to get away from fear of love. It's always something, oh, it's private. We don't talk about it. Oh, it's private. We keep it to ourselves. We have to hide it. We have to hide our love so deep down inside of us that we can't even dig it out when we want it.
That's why I'm saying breathe it in and breathe it out. Change your consciousness.
Yeah.
It's the easiest method I
Yeah.
know.
And we have to understand that we are worthy of love. If
Oh, yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
whole problem, is the whole idea of not feeling worthy of it because you weren't told it or this or that. Hey, nobody has to give you permission except
Yep.
you.
Yep.
You. And this is what Louise Hayes, why I love Louise Hayes so much, because she was the
Yes.
one who taught me that you have to give yourself permission, nobody else.
Yes.
So
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Louisa. I love you. Express your love through your throat chakra. It actually heals your throat chakra.
yeah, I'm trying. Doing my best, Scott. Thank you so much too today. What a wonderful, beautiful, loving message for a Sunday morning. I hope it was food for the soul for everybody.
I better give
We
my
have to do
blessing.
we have to do a blessing. Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Here we go. Bringing the love in. In the name of the Almighty, I am that I am, and by the powers of all the ascended masters who emanate their love to us in gratitude and happiness and bliss. We bless each and every one of you that you will express your love to one another, a pure love that fills their hearts with love. Bless yourself that you will be filled with God's love and breathe in God's love and express that love to all those around you through your deeds, through your actions, through your thoughts. Telepathically wake up everybody around you, sending them love and hope, and bless them through your minds that they will wake up and prepare for the ascension. I bless each and every one of you with the powers of creation that are created through our love, and that love will be powerful for you and through you to change everything that is happening on planet Earth at this time, that you will be the ones who were foretold to come and shift the consciousness of humanity. Stay here for now because you're needed through your love to transmute everything into that love. Use your energies for that love, and you will be blessed beyond measure. All those around you will receive blessings of love and light and pure consciousness. And everything will shift on Mother Earth, and Earth will become a perfected, happy place to be. We bless you with this energy and do it in the name of all the ascended masters, all the Elohim and the Almighty I am that I am, the creator of the universe, in the name of Jesus Christ and all the ascended masters. So be it. So it is.
So it is.
Woo,
Thank you
that
very
felt
much for
good.
that, Scott. Thank you so much.
You are
Bringing
so
in the light.
welcome. You are
Bringing in the
so
light.
welcome. God bless you.
Thank you so much. And Scott, so people can find, let me see, on scottwerner.org, if they want to email you about the Ho'oponopono or anything, they can email you there. Is your
Email me to scott.healthlongevity.inc@gmail.com. That's my main email, and that's where I can send you that the
Yeah.
Ho'oponopono or
Okay.
whatever else you
I'll
need.
put this in the description section of the video. It's Scott dot or at.
Health.
No.
No, Scott dot
Yeah.
health HEALTH
Yeah.
longevity LONGEVITYINC. So that's the name of our business, Health Longevity Inc.
Yeah.
at gmail.com.
Oh, at Gmail. Okay, I know. That's the email I have for you. So
Yes.
I know I'll put it in
Yeah.
there. Make
That's
sure
my
it's in there.
simplest one.
Yeah, that's no problem. This way people can reach you directly. So I hope everybody enjoyed this food for the soul today, and I hope you enjoy your Sunday. We don't know what's going to happen, folks, but don't stay in fear. It's not going to,
Oh,
fear's not going to help us. Only love will.
yep.
So we just have to get that. And please, everybody watching, tell somebody this today. Tell them you love them. Whoever's watching, not even live, but if you're watching after the live stream, just make sure you love the ones you
Yes.
love,
And if you've done anything to them, do the Ho'oponopono. Include,
Right.
please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank
Exactly.
you for being my friend or whatever, my lover, whatever.
Yeah. What's that James Taylor song? Shower the people you love with love.
Oh,
Show
I
them the
love
way
that
that you
song.
feel, right?
That's
So I'm going to
right.
go listen to it right now. I hope everybody listens to it. So thank you all for joining us. Scott, thank you for being here. My love to Vicky as well. And we hope that you'll both come back on so we can talk about love, because it is an urgent
We'll
message.
do it next week. So tell
Excellent.
everybody that you know and tell them we're going to be on the air live and we'll do it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for joining us. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report. Okay, that's